What's up everyone, it's Ryan here, and today we're back with another video, and we're actually talking about my thoughts on Michael Bay's Transformers again, and we're officially on episode 6. Now I said in my last episode that we were on episode 6, but that was episode 5, so Soundwave was episode 5. This is episode 6, I'm pretty sure, and we're going to be talking about Sideswipe, one of the most popular, fan-favorite Transformers characters. But yes, he's an Autobot, we're actually going to be talking about him. And before we get into it, huge spoilers for the not the first Transformers film, the second Transformers film. Huge spoilers for the second Transformers film. I repeat, there are spoilers for the second Transformers film. The third Transformers film, we will have spoilers in there too. So yes, huge spoiler warning for the second and third Transformers film. I repeat, huge spoilers involved. But yes, with all that out of the way, there's going to be spoilers, but it's going to be a fun talk. So yes, guys, we're actually going to be talking about the Autobot known as Sideswipe, and again, spoilers for the second and third Transformers film. No spoilers for the first one, but there will be spoilers for the second and third Transformers film, because we're talking about his movie appearance, and what would I have done with him. So let's get into it. So the first time we actually get to see Sideswipe was actually in the Revenge of the Fallen movie, and pretty early on in the film, when he was actually sent to actually hunt down this Decepticon called Sideways. So while actually chasing after Sideswipe actually transformed and actually used his blades, yes, he has blades as weapons, and actually propelled himself up into the air, and he actually landed in front of Sideways, and he actually had one of his blades already stuck in the Decepticon. When he was in the air, he actually threw it into the Decepticon, which was pretty cool. So now in front of Sideswipe actually used his blade already in Sideways and actually brought it through his vehicle mode and actually killed Sideways. And that was actually just one of the coolest moves of the whole Transformers franchise. And after that move, everyone started calling Sideswipe the new Jazz, because really, he is sort of similar to Jazz because he's small, he's actually quick, and he actually is pretty awesome like Jazz. But yes, I have to agree with this. He was sort of like the new Jazz. So Sideswipe after that had a few small scenes, but the big one was actually when they returned to the nest base, and this was actually after Optimus Prime was killed, and all the Autobots actually saw Optimus Prime's body, and then after that they were basically all sent to Egypt to actually sort of help Sam Witwicky try and bring Prime back to life. So after actually getting to Egypt, the battle had already basically started, and Sideswipe was actually a brave soldier, as he actually went to the front lines and actually sort of fought beside the soldiers, and then when it was time to fall back, he actually let them retreat before he actually sort of followed them. But again, another sign that he was a brave soldier, and he'd actually like the soldiers to go before he would, because he actually wants to protect them like the other Autobots. But after that, we get a few more scenes of Sideswipe actually shooting at Decepticons in Egypt, and he actually got to see he was actually the one to actually say, "Hey, I spotted Sam," and I'm guessing none of the Autobots actually saw him, but it seems like Sideswipe was actually a really good scout. He could have good eyes. He also was like a really good warrior because he was still in the front lines. He actually got shot while trying to tell the other Autobots they saw Sam, but don't worry, Sideswipe actually survived, and he actually survived till the end of this movie, and actually survives until the next one. But moving on to the Dark of the Moon movie, Sideswipe actually does appear pretty early on again, with Bumblebee, Q, and Mirage actually helping them take down illegal weapon sites, and the mission is actually successful if you've actually listened to the Mirage video that I talked about Mirage or Dino. But yes, it was a successful mission. Later on, we actually get to see Sideswipe, Bumblebee, and Mirage actually trying to chase down the Dreads, a group of Decepticons who are trying to kidnap Sentinel Prime, and Sideswipe, Bumblebee, and Mirage are supposed to protect him, so you actually get to see this long chase on the highway until they actually catch up with the Dreads. Moving on, you actually got to see more of Sideswipe's bravery, where he actually transformed and actually sort of shot at the Dreads to actually cover fire for Bumblebee and Mirage so they could actually protect Sentinel Prime. Sure, he had help from Ironhide, but again, still, it really shows that he had the bravery, even though he was smaller, to actually fight the Decepticons. But then we actually got to see another cool Transformers scene, as we actually got to see Sideswipe and Ironhide versus the two remaining Dreads in a Mexican standoff, as Sideswipe would call it. And again, it was really cool because you haven't really seen that before in a Transformers movie. You usually just see the Autobots and Decepticons going at each other for a fist fight. Later on in the film, we actually get to see Sentinel Prime actually taking on Sideswipe and Bumblebee, because at this point he's evil, he's with the Decepticons now, and Sideswipe actually tries to come at him, but then Sentinel Prime actually shoots him with this cosmic rust cannon, but luckily, like, the cannon wasn't charged with, like, the cosmic rust, and it really didn't do anything to Sideswipe besides sending him backwards. Of course, you probably knew that Sideswipe survived because, like, when Ratchet actually complimented Bumblebee, you can see Sideswipe in the background, and he did survive Dark of the Moon, but unfortunately, that's the last scene we actually got to see of Sideswipe. Like, he does not appear in any other films, but luckily we have an answer, like, we have a true answer to what happened to Sideswipe. So the most likely and most common answer for what happened to Sideswipe is that sometime after the Battle of Chicago, Sideswipe was actually hunted down by Cemetery Wind, because Cemetery Wind was created sometime after the Battle of Chicago, and it seems like he was one of the early Autobot casualties that was hunted, and it seems like when Optimus Prime met up with the other Autobots in the desert, one of the KSI drones would actually reveal that Sideswipe was killed, like there'd be a video of it, and that would be really sad to see, so I'm glad we didn't get to see that, but I'm pretty sure Sideswipe was killed. And I don't know if this picture is accurate, but if you actually look at all the Autobots that were apprehended or slain, if you actually look at the second column and like the second box, it actually says Sideswipe and it says slain. So that's another piece of evidence that I don't know if it's accurate, but I think it actually sort of supports the case that Sideswipe could be dead. And a third popular piece of evidence that supports that Sideswipe is killed, it seems like at KSI you can actually see like this gray torso just sitting like on this rack or something, and it seems like no other Decepticon Autobot actually has that silver color besides Sideswipe. So I think this is Sideswipe personally, but if it's not, I feel like it could be like another like sort of like Decepticon or Autobot that's melted down and they just like lost their color. So guys, I do think that Sideswipe was killed either by Cemetery Wind or Lockdown possibly, but really I think we should have seen like Sideswipe survive like a lot more, like maybe in the fourth film, because like when all the Autobots reunite, I think it would have been cool to actually see Sideswipe, because Sideswipe was special. Like he had those swords and his like feet, instead of feet he had those like wheels that actually like were like rollerblades that allowed him to like to roll around and actually move very fast. But he was a unique character, like he had multiple traits about this guy, so, and it's like sort of strange that we didn't get to see like a good ending to this character. Like maybe like this big character like Lockdown could have killed him, and yes, it would have been sad, but instead of not seeing it, we would know what happened to like one of everyone's like favorite characters, because again, everyone sort of like considered like Sideswipe to be the new Jazz. But yes, if I had to change something, I would definitely have Sideswipe live longer, because really, I would really want this character to live longer personally, and I feel like a lot of other people would, because again, fan favorite character, and that could probably get a lot of people happier, because a lot of people were like, hey, where's Sideswipe in like the fourth film? But I'm pretty sure they knew. But yes, it's still sad that he didn't like live on to like a third film, or maybe like a fourth film, because that'd be really cool to actually see him in the Last Night, speaking of it too. But really, yes, I would really just make him live longer, or at least like reveal what happened to him. Alright guys, that's the video for today. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, leaving a like would be greatly appreciated as always. And I am thinking about doing a Decepticon next, but that will probably be a while. But yes, maybe like sometime later this week, but I will have other theory videos coming out in the meantime, so stay tuned for those. And until next time guys, you're all awesome. Hope you have a great day.